Hello you, me again. If you've watched the previous video, you know how much of a shambles that was. I don't even know. Okay, I'm out of breath now. I'm getting old. The wire just fell out. So I thought I would reintroduce myself. Oh God. The reintroduction for the reintroduction for the reintroduction. Back once again, like a renegade master. So, maybe this can be the update video that I planned, where I'm not faffing around with audio equipment. I'm just a man in front of a camera trying to remember what the dialogue is from Jerry Maguire. So, I have started writing again. Yay! Whilst finishing a book is very cool and awesome, and it's like a dream come true, the events that then surround the book's release means that you don't tend to have a lot of free time to actually sit down and write. So I finished writing Asylums in August of 2025, and I haven't really written anything since. I've been editing a little project for a while, but I've kind of hit a roadblock on that. And editing is not really writing. Like, it is, but it isn't. But it is, but it isn't. There are tens of writers out there who are watching this, who are screaming at the screen saying that editing is writing. But it's not. It's a different part of the brain. At least I believe so. Which is just a long-winded way of me saying that I'm writing again, as in first draft, brand new project, which I'm very excited about. It's something I've never really tried before, and it's coming quite easy. Which for a writer, that's a nice thing, because there's nothing worse than sitting down at a blank screen and nothing coming out for the duration that you're writing. So a brand new project. I'm not going to reveal too much about it. What I will say though is that I've entitled it Project Daydream, not the final title, and it does focus on a particular theme. One that I think is quite prevalent in 2026, actually. Slight tangent. If you look at cinema and literary media in general, you will notice that there are certain trends that appear based on world events, because the way that writers tend to process things that are going on is to write about them. For example, Jasper Fforde, incredible writer, wrote this book called The Constant Rabbit. I met him and got him signed there, which was his way of processing Brexit and the rise of the right-wing movement that has been happening in this country for the last, decade now. And you saw this in the US as well a couple of years ago when Roe v. Wade, the abortion rights, when they got essentially wiped out, there was this whole swath of cinema that was dealing with the emotions of this event. Unfortunately, the way that a lot of the filmmakers were producing this was to have a lot of very scary, creepy, birth, horrific scenes. to boil it down to its most base parts. So you had things like the incredible First Omen. You had the awful Immaculate with Sydney Sweeney. You had even Beetlejuice had these instances of horrific births, demonic babies, which were metaphorical for the events that were going on at the time. It was how these people were dealing with what was going on with Roe v. Wade. There is a point to this tangent. So similar to Jasper Fforde and Brexit, similar to Beetlejuice, I feel that 2026 is going to be the year of grief. What that says about the state of the world right now, I'm quite terrified about, to be honest. There have already been a few instances, as specifically in the movie land, in the cinema. So it's the start of February right now, and already I've seen a handful of films that deal quite heavily with sadness and grief and the emotions that surround that, specifically. So examples of this showing of grief in media. We have the film adaptation of the book Hamnet, which I have somewhere in here, and that deals with the loss of a child. Also, another recent film that came out, probably not on the same level as Hamnet, was Return to Silent Hill. Now, that film, Hamnet, 5 out of 5, perhaps the greatest film of the year so far. Return to Silent Hill, nowhere near as good. But based on the video game Silent Hill 2, which deals a lot with grief. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up, the reason that tangent has lasted for however long, is because Project Daydream. Remember that I told you about several minutes ago? Project Daydream, the book that I'm currently writing, is about grief. Not just because I've noticed a trend in 2026. I've been thinking about this book for a very long time, and it's just now that I feel that I am in a position where I can write it and do it justice. There are many books that I have attempted to write at the wrong time. Whether it has been I've been too happy trying to write a sad book, or too sad trying to write a happy book, or it might just be the events of the world are colouring the book too much for me to write it at that time, and I need certain distance. But for a myriad of reasons, I feel that now I'm in a position where I can write this book about grief, which, if you've been following along to the kind of stuff that I normally write, is somewhat of a departure, I will admit. Did I just spill tea over myself? Did you see that? Somewhat of a departure. So when it comes to actually writing a book, I have this very bad habit of trying to do it as quickly as possible, trying to do the old NaNoWriMo thing of trying to cram as much writing into a single session as possible. And I don't want to do that with this. Perhaps one of the biggest takeaways that I've gotten from being a self-published author is that I have time. I'm not beholden to anyone. I'm not beholden to an agent. I'm not beholden to a publishing company. I'm beholden to my own idiosyncrasies and the anxiety in my head. That's kind of, but then I'm beholden to that anyway. So I know how to ignore that. So by allowing myself this time, it means that I can actually take the time to write and not, cram it all into as short a time as possible, which I'm finding very enjoyable at the moment. I'll do another update in a couple of weeks, and you can see me. I would have torn all my hair out, and all this will be in shambles. But for the moment, I'm enjoying it. It's good. It's going well. I won't say any more than that, because that was the biggest tangent to essentially say that the book's theme is about grief. Finally, an idea that I have been toying with is Project Daydream, currently in its first draft stage. And I want your opinion on this. Would you be interested in seeing the story blossom from the very beginning? Is that something that you'd be interested in? So what I mean by that is that I am contemplating releasing Project Daydream in its current form. Not as a book, I'm not like insane. I'm not gonna like hit publish on a first draft. What I'm contemplating is putting it online, and you can see the process that I personally take to be a writer. So I will put my first draft up. It will not be pretty. It will not make sense. It will have poor punctuation, poor grammar. It will be a mess. But you will see the birth of this story. You will be there from its inception, so that when I do draft it, when I do get it to a standard where it can be published, you can see how the story has changed. You can also see my thought process in regards to certain plot points, in regards to certain characters. You will see the entire journey. And I want to know if you think that's a good idea. Because if it is, great, I will start doing it. I will figure out a way to get the first draft into your hands. If you think this is the worst idea possible, also tell me that. There are tens of writers shouting at the screen going, no, this is the single worst idea you've ever had. But I'm kind of intrigued by the idea. It's in no way a new idea. This has been done many, many times before. And it might prove to be a fucking shambles. But what do you think? Thoughts, answers on a postcard, put them in the doobly-doo, whatever. Yeah, I rambled on again. If you're not sick of me yet, think about following along. So, hello again. I'm kind of back. Who knows? I'm probably not. I don't know. I'm just going insane. I'm going insane. I need to finish this now. I need to get out of the room and stop talking to myself. Hi, thanks for watching. If you want more from me or to learn more about my book Asylums, you can do so via this QR code here or via the link on my page.